class meetings, but thanks to the great past reunion cheers, we've had so many wonderful class meetings that we just couldn't miss a chance to gather with all of y'all, even if it does mean that we had to get up a little earlier than maybe most of us would have preferred. But we're looking forward today to continuing our great reunion weekend where we have a chance to reflect and remember and to celebrate. Because we have so much to include in just 45 minutes, we all want to be ready to go over to the tree planting right at 11:30, be there at 11:30. And we're going to save our more formal remarks and introductions and thank yous and all of that for dinner tonight, so we hope you'll all be back for that. And at this point, I'd like to introduce David Yearwood, who is my reunion co-chair. To say hello.
Welcome, echo Carol's welcome, everyone. My gosh, what a great turnout. And thank you guys all for being here. And let's have a good time. All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's wonderful to be here as we remember our classmates who have passed away. We're doing the memorial section right now. We only have 1 minute per person to speak, which I know is not much to acknowledge anyone's life, but there's the rest of the weekend and lots more stories and laughter among the tears. Some speakers have told me how meaningful it's been as they've been connecting with classmates' widows, and siblings, and children. And I wanted to tell you what Freddie Clayton wrote me. He said it best. In looking for photos of cleats, after Davidson, I received huge blessings, talking with his wife and siblings, comparing my experiences and memories of cleats with theirs, was both nostalgic and emotional. And finding how much our impressions coincided was entirely endearing. The conversations are ones that I will treasure forever. And it emphasized to me that part of the legacy each of us leaves is our relationships with folks we meet at different times in our lives. Reminiscing about cleats was a profound reminder of how blessed my life has been, especially the years at Davidson. Thank you, Freddie. So we'll remember our classmates in reverse alphabetical order. So Ed Basketball Jones is going to tip it off to speak about Tony Snow.
Tony Snow was the finest human being and the zaniest dancer I've ever known. What a sense of humor. We were at one of those awful Queens mixers, and Tony says, "Hey, B-Ball, I've got my opening line ready for the ladies. Say, who's your dermatologist?" Then there's the name he gave our 4th Richardson softball team, the Suggestive Bananas. Wow, what a man in full Tony blossomed into. To me, he was a genius as a writer and political pundit and the most masterful White House press secretary who ever lived. He could have been a great senator and maybe even president. More important to Tony, though, he was an exemplary friend, husband, and dad. He taught us how to live and how to die, Britt Hume said. He also taught us the ennobling power of redemptive suffering. Good Lord, was he brave. God doesn't promise us tomorrow, Tony wrote, but he does promise us eternity. Someday we'll laugh and dance with you again in that promised eternity, our good friend. It may take you that long to teach us that zany, wonderful dance of yours. We miss you and love you, and of course we really love Jill and Robbie and his entire family. God bless.
Yay.
Jeff Morrow in a minute. Very, very difficult. So Jeff was, I guess, a combination of sort of a, oil rig leatherneck, had that kind of look to him. He also would kind of sometimes take on an ascot and pretend to be British. And both sort of worked, And that's why he did the play The Importance of Being Earnest in the Union. I don't know if anybody remembers that. But you have to understand, he was in that character the whole time at home, too. I mean, he'd be in the room, he'd walk around like, trunching his hands, "Mom, do me a favor, please. Get me a drink, old boy." And he just wouldn't leave character. And so this is my favorite story about Jeff, okay? Jeff, there was I guess it must have been a sophomore or a freshman, And I remember the girl looked a little bit like Anna Kournikova, and Jeff said, I want you to help me with this. So I had a Chevy Impala, and we're in the eating court, and he said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to drive your Impala a certain amount at a certain speed. I have been watching her. I know when she leaves the eating house. A little creepy, that's Jeff. But, and what he did was, and we practiced this, I would come around the bend, he would yell out to me as she walked out, and he would run, catapult himself on top of my car, and then flip himself in, so she could see this. Now, I'm pretty sure Jeff could have gotten a date with her anyway, so I'm not sure why he went to this effort, but he did, and I'm pretty sure she didn't see it. But he got the date. I don't know, when I think of Jeff, I think of joy. It was impossible to be around Jeff and not smile. And Jeff, we miss you, we love you, and I think you bring a smile to everybody.
Hey.
I wanted to keep this funny. Look, many of you did not know Mike Morris. Mike was a transfer student, came in, and he sat in the lounge one day. And I say to him, hey, do you drink wine? He goes, oh, no, I'm a beer drinker. He's a big Russian looking guy. Oh, I don't drink beer, I drink beer. I said, well, you know, there's this cute girl down in Emanon, and she's going to have this wine sale. And she's selling Matousse wine. So if this is another one of these kind of date stories. This was a long time before I got into this arena. But so I said, I think if we buy some wine, she'll probably marry me someday. Well, how much wine do you think we'll have to buy? I think it might have to be a case. What are we going to do with it? We'll have to drink it. So I drank Morris. We go down there. Susan is running this, by the way, bootleg wine deal. Slater had a full, the A.R.A. Slater folks had a full monopoly. Nobody was supposed to sell anything on campus. She got in trouble for this. You know? And so, you know, she's got this whole thing going. We go in there and buy a case of wine from her. So there you go.
Rick was one of the kindest, most gentle, gracious people I've ever known in my entire life. He had this incredibly wry, self-deprecating sense of humor. He could leave you in stitches with a side remark. He was just incredible. He had a gift for electronics. He was an electronic genius in the days when that was unusual. He could fix anything. He had, I think the phrase eclectic musical taste was invented for Rick. He had an amazing record collection. But I think the thing he enjoyed more than anything else was helping other people out. That was where he got his greatest joy in life. And one of our priests at our church uses a benediction that I think really captures Rick's spirit, and I'd like to share that with you. It goes like this: life is short, and we do not have too much time to gladden the hearts of those who travel the way with us. So be swift to love, make haste to be kind, and remember that the one who made us, who loves us, and who travels the way with us still, the one holy and undivided Trinity, be with us this day and forevermore. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, good morning. It's my privilege to be able to say a few words about our departed classmate, Gordon Maynard. Most of you know him as Pato. Gordon passed away in 2010 in Grayson, Georgia, and left behind a wife, Mickey, son, Jonathan, and a 2009 grad. Jonathan was the 2009 grad. While at Davidson, Gordon was a political science major, an anchor on the Davidson soccer team. In his senior year, he was captain of the soccer team in All-Southern Conference. He actually got his name Pato because of his aggressive style of play, and there was an Argentinian star named Pato Marjetic who was a player, and that's kind of how we all came to know Pato. He never wanted a desk job. After graduation, Gordon went and was in sales with a company in the Atlanta area called Greenwood Ice Cream. And he actually ended up being the vice president of sales, and was probably the only one still as vice president of sales who still drove the truck around on a normal route throughout Georgia. So he kept his wish of never having to have the desk job. He was one of the nicest guys you would ever know. And really, when I think back, he really never had a mean thing to say about anybody. you know, and I guess a lot of us wish we could say that about ourselves. Gordon was a man of few words, and if he was looking down on us now, he would quote a soccer expression, and he would say,